Hey, welcome back, my fellow humble investors. It's me, ET, and remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm just a self-taught investor who loves to talk about great companies. In particular, you guys know I love talking about Humbl. Now, in this video, what we're going to do quite naturally, I always go over last week's price action, any news that happened last week, but most importantly, the thing that happened last week is the second quarter's earnings report was released last week. So what I want to do is I want to go over the revenue that was generated in the second quarter, and we're going to look at the overall first 6 months of earnings for a brand new company. And all I'm going to do is just focus on the revenue. And the reason why I want to focus on the revenue is because I believe, in my opinion, what I'm looking for revenue, the growth of the revenue. Cash flow is king. It's the survival of any company. You need cash flow coming in from revenue that's generated from various sales. You don't need cash flow coming in from financing. Even though we need that, follow the cash flow. I'm looking at revenue. So what I want to do right now is just kind of review the first quarter revenues, but we're also going to review second quarter's revenue and take a cumulative effect of the first 6 months of revenue reported by Humbl. So let's do it. Let's get to it. All right. Now, on the 23rd of May of this year, I did a video talking about the very first quarter's earnings report that was released. Let's review that. And let's review the revenue side of the house there. All right, Q1 revenue, first 3 months in operation. They were able to generate $156,260 of revenue. And then they broke it down for us based upon the three sectors. Humbl Pay, we already know that was the goose egg. Humbl Market. Humbl Market is where you got your tickery, EFTs, your merchants, and so forth. So that was able to generate, and that's where the bulk of the income came from, $154,104. And then we had Humbl Finance. That's the ETX. The ETX is just like the ETFs, all right, for cryptocurrency. That generated $2,156. Let's take a look at the revenue for the second quarter. All right, grab my notes here. All right, for Q2 revenue, overall revenue generated just within that second quarter, we've got $225,956. That's the revenue was generated in the second quarter. What's the second quarter? April, May, June. All right, now that basically shows a $69,696 increase from Q1. That equates to a whopping 45% increase in revenue compared to the first quarter of this year. So revenue was up by 45%. I honestly thought it was going to be more than 45%. But I didn't factor in really the profit margin from ticket sales. I knew the ticket sales was probably going to be one of the big revenue producers, but I thought that the profit margin would be a lot more. Evidently, it wasn't, but that's okay. 45% revenue growth from one quarter to the next quarter is good. I'm not complaining. I thought it was going to be a lot more, but I'll take 45%. That is good growth. Hopefully we can if we can maintain that type of momentum, woo, look out. All right, so Humbl Pay was able to generate zero. We know why. They haven't really released the Humbl Pay side of the house yet, the peer-to-peer. It's coming. They're working on all the details. That there is going to be a huge moneymaker once it's released. But until then, let's take a look at everything else. In the market, they were able to generate $123,000 $746. That's in the market. Now, compare second quarter's market to first quarter's. Woo! It's down. The market is down. In a Humbl market is down. It is down. That is down $30,358 or 20%. We've seen a 20% decrease when it comes to the market side of the house. We'll talk about that and dive a little bit into that a little bit further. But let's continue on. We have Humbl Finance. Humbl Finance, remember that's the ETFs. See what it did here in Q1, $2,156. For Q2, all right, here we go. We're looking at $102,210. Look at that difference. That is plus. That is an additional $100,054 increase compared to Q1. Good job on the ETX side. Now, let's take a look at the overall first 6 months of reporting when it comes to the earnings, in particular, the revenue. All right, so for the first 6 months, revenue generated was, I hope you guys can see this, I'm gonna have to write a little bit smaller here, $382,216. Then we're gonna break it down, Humbl Pay, market, and finance. And as we already know, Humbl Pay is gonna be a big goose egg. The market was 277,050. And then Humbl Finance total was 104,366. So first 6 months revenue, 382,216. And this here is the breakdown of that number. Now, one of the things that I've seen in this report here, and if you guys are interested, I'll have a link to the earnings report in the description below. But also, I got this information. When you go to the report, it's going to be on, the revenue is going to be on page 39. And when it breaks it down to the revenue sectors, it's going to be on page 50. So let's get back to this here. Humbl Market, the revenue sources. All right, for Humbl Market, right here. Let's take a look. The revenue sources, merchandise. Merchandise was generated $171,175. Tickets, all right, and this is where I underestimated. I thought we were going to see a lot more revenue from tickets, but that's because of the profit margin. That was 11,830. 11,830 was generated from tickets. And then we have the merchant fees. That was 76,738. NFTs generated 18,107. Now, those NFTs, we had that the soft launch of the NFT gallery. And that soft launch, just based upon my calculations, you know, those NFTs sold for a total of about $28,000. That generated $11,830 for Humbl. So this gives us the total of that 277,850. In other words, this number here is that number there. That's where that came from. Now, let me just say something about the NFTs. All right, NFTs, it is starting to take off. I know we had the soft launch. We tested it out. It looks like, in my opinion, it was successful. And I know that more is coming. But we were the first one on the scene, in my opinion, one of the first companies on the scene with that. And then we kind of let our foot off the gas. Now, NFTs are starting to pop up. I'm starting to see a lot of promotions for NFTs on just regular, commercials. For example, I'm a huge WWE fan. I love WWE. Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Bianca Belair. I just went to not a SmackDown, but a Raw event on Monday, and I bought the T-shirt. You gotta have it. I got to have it. Head of the table, Roman Reigns. I bought the T-shirt, but I was watching SmackDown on Friday, and they were promoting SummerSlam. And guess what they were promoting? They were promoting the NFTs for that event. Caught my attention. First thing I thought of course, was Humbl. And then I seen the news that DraftKings is promoting a Tom Brady, the GOAT. Some people will disagree, but the GOAT when it comes to quarterbacks. They're promoting his NFTs. Humbl. Hey, let's do this. Let's get on it. Put that monster creative to work. Get those doggone professional photographers out there. We should be promoting NFTs right now after the Olympics. Don't let us forget about the Olympics before we start to promote it. That's just me and my humble opinion. But I think we're starting to fall behind the power curve when it comes to those NFTs. I see the speed of that is picking up out there, and it looks like we slowed down. That's just me. I could be wrong. Let me know if I am on that. But this here, going back to this, let me just kind of get back to the business at hand. This is the second quarter. Overall, I'm looking at a 45% increase in revenue from last quarter. I'm going to be looking for at least 20 to 30 to 40% on the third quarter. As that we start to gain momentum, because we got a lot of product lines, we got a lot of sectors that's not producing. Huge money maker when it comes to Humbl Pay. There's no doubt about it. The Humbl market, we still got Tickery. We're going to have a full 3 months of Tickery, so this number is going to get better for next. The merchant fees, I don't know about that so much, but also this NFTs. We need to hurry up and do that. I mean, NFTs, we need to get on that when it comes to NFTs. Great potential out there when it comes to that. So I foresee that the Q3 is going to be also a good revenue growth. And I'm also looking at the debt and the ticket sales. Once we get to the price action and I start going over those slides, I'm actually going to go over the ticket sales from Tickery when it comes to the third quarter. And actually, they're going to report some numbers after the third quarter. So with all of that, I tell you what, let's just go ahead and get to that price action, start reviewing those slides, take a look at what's going on with Tickery.
Hey, Humble Nation, I need you guys to do me a really big favor. Make sure that you hit that like, subscribe, and notification buttons. That'll really help out the channel. Thanks a lot.
Humble Nation, 45% revenue growth quarter over quarter. I'll take it. If we can continue on with that type of growth rate, we'll graduate from having over hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue generated in a quarter to millions of dollars of revenue generated in a quarter. That's what it's all about. Let's take a look at any news events for last week. All right, I pulled both of these from the Q2 report. If you guys are interested in taking a look at the Q2 report, I'll have it linked in the description below. The very first one talks about Tickery. It says since the acquisition of Tickery, the company had $3.5 million in total ticket sales. All right, and that goes from the acquisition date, which was the 4th of June, 2021, and it takes us to the 9th of August of 2021. So that's that $3.5 million in ticket sales. Now, for the 26 days, in the last 26 days of the second quarter, the 4th of June, the acquisition date, until the end of June, 26 days, they were able to generate $1.1 million in ticket sales. So we get an idea of the profit margin because, if you remember, when I was at the board, the revenue generated from tickets was $11,830. So we got an idea now of the profit margin. Remember, we're selling tickets, so that basically means the bulk of that the sale of the ticket goes to the venue and the artists and so forth. So we got that. We got an idea of the profit margin. On July 29, 2021, the company entered into a development service agreement with Red Rock Development Group, LLC. The company intends to purchase and/or develop a portfolio of real estate assets and then potentially tokenize the interest in the portfolio. This goes right along with the very last investors call when Brian Foote talked about getting into and tokenizing real estate assets. So if you guys are interested, take a look at that. It's on page 53 of the Q2 earnings report. Let's take a look at the price action for last week. As you can see, on Friday, we closed at 80 cents. We opened at 69 cents. Great comeback on Friday. However, for the week, we're still looking at a downward trend. Look at that trend line. We opened the week up 84 cents, closed at 80 cents. Another downtrending week. When it comes to volume, on Friday, we had 7.1 million against a average 10-day volume of 5 million. So the volume was up on Friday. Now that 7.1, what percentage of that was from the shorts? And we see that 52% of that on Friday were from the shorts. And as you can always also see is that we're only looking at we're only looking at about 4 days since the 24th of July where we were below that 20% line. And you guys know anything above 20% is not good. Here, the Lion.com report shows us the 50 most searched stocks within the last 72 hours, and we can see that Humbl was ranked number 1. This is my current position in Humbl, and as you can see, I reached my goal of 10,000 shares of Humbl. I reached it last week. I drove down my cost basis to $1.51. Remember, I think that at that height, my highest cost basis at one particular time was $3.24. So that's kind of the advantage of buying when the price of the stock is down. You accumulate your shares and you drive down your cost basis. Overall, with Humbl, as you can see, I spent about $15,000 and I am down. I got a net loss of 47%. I'm not going to let that bother me. Not a problem. I'm going to hang on to it. As we get these quarterly reports and we start to see the revenue growth, the stock price will follow. Now, in addition to the stock, I also have ETFs products from Humbl Financial. I'm in block 3 and block 5, and as you can see in block 3, I'm down 6%. Block 5, I'm actually up 4%. So here is a breakout of that. I had an initial $1,000 investment, and this is broken down on the month-to-month performance. And as you can see, that initial $1,000 currently is worth $994.47. I am down overall 1% when you combine block 3 and block 5. I reached my goal of 10,000 shares of Humbl. My ETX, block 3 and block 5, they're bouncing back. And 45% revenue growth from quarter over quarter. You know what? I'll take it. The only thing missing right now is price appreciation. We're starting to see that. I want to see that price of Humbl starts to go up. And I understand it's going to take some time. Not a problem. I'm willing to be patient. As long as we continue to see that revenue growth quarter over quarter, not a problem. The price will eventually catch up. With all of that being said, guys, I will see you next Sunday, if not sooner. You guys take care. Bye-bye.